Good morning all of you. Welcome back to the lecture series on employee relations and labor laws. Today we will discuss about a case study which is on employee grievances. As we all know, grievances are feelings of dissatisfaction regarding the matters of employment within the organization, and these matters can be argued that they will be felt or not, or they will be discussed or not, but altogether we can say if there is any feeling of grievances within the organization or within the employees, it affects the working of the employees. So, every organization has to take care about various grievances in the organization. So, if we talk about grievances, we organizations use certain parameters to identify them, and also they have various techniques to identify the grievances if there is any in the organization. Now, so many processes or so many techniques organizations use to identify the grievances. Now, today we will talk about Watson Public Limited, a company, and we will discuss the issues relating to grievances within the organization. We will also discuss what can be the solutions to the problems they are facing. So, we will start with the introduction of Watson Public Limited. This is a company. Watson Public Limited is well known for its welfare activities and employee oriented schemes in manufacturing industry from for more than 10 decades. The company consists of 800 workers, 150 administrative staff and 80 management level employees. And the top management view all the employees at same level. Basically, what we think is that we all are social animals, and if we are working in any organization and the organization is treating all its employees at a same level, it affects the motivation of the employees. So, as and when we talk about employee welfare or we talk about employee motivation, all these issues are related to organization's philosophy, what they what they think about their human resources. See, there are certain organizations which consider their human resources as their assets, and there are at the same time some of the organizations they treat or they consider their employees as their liabilities. So, when there is a there is a huge difference between both the philosophies. If the organization treats or they have the philosophy of regarding the human resources as their assets, they do have different parameters, or they have different kind of policies towards the human resources, because they consider human resources as their assets. But on the other hand, if company or the organization has a different philosophy and where they think their human resources as their liability, the set of rules or policies will be different, because their philosophy is entirely on a other hand. So, in this company, as we are studying that top management view all the employees at the same level, means they treat their employees as their assets and behave accordingly. They do have their policies, HR policies accordingly to and due to those all human resource policies, people working there were very satisfied with the organization. Now, the company have two different categories of different places. They do have two different cafeterias at different places, one near the plant for workers and other near the administration building. though the place is different, but the amenities, infrastructure and the food provided are of same quality. In short, the company stands by the rule employee equality. So, basically when we talk about employee equality, it will consider all employees on equal stage, whether it is person from management or people working with the organization as worker, everybody is treated as a same employee. Now, moreover, the company has one registered trade union and the relationship between the union and the management is very cordial. So, as and when we talk about industrial relations are relations between management and workers basically, as well as it is also defined as relations between management and relations between workers and workers. And maximum times when we talk about industrial disputes or any disruption in industrial working, it is basically depends upon the relationship between management and the workers. If there is any disturbance in the relationship of worker and management, it affects the working of the organization negatively. So, here if we talk about the relationship between management and workers, the relationship is very cordial. And the company has not lost a single mandate due to the strike. That does mean management has not faced any strike within the organization. So, it is a situation, it is an ideal situation where no man day has been lost due to strike. The company is not a paymaster in that industry. See, this is the point to be discussed. The company was not a paymaster in that industry, but the compensation policy of that company when compared to other similar companies is very less. Still the employees do not have many grievances due to the other benefits provided by the company. That does mean that other than the monetary benefits, other all benefits are in the way that employees were very satisfied with the company. That also does mean that they have various welfare schemes for the employees within the organization. They have the welfare policies, they have the welfare measures for the employees, so that they cannot, I mean they were very much satisfied with the pay scale or salary or wages whatever they are getting, but they were getting a very cordial environment of working where they are feeling comfortable. See, this is a main this is very important factor in any organization. If workers are feeling comfortable working there, right, they ignore other small issues such like wages or salary or other facilities they are getting or not. So, now from this scenario we can get that everybody in the industry was very happy, cordial, and they were feeling satisfied with the organization, with the organizational policies, or what they are getting as benefits or wages, they were feeling very much satisfied. Although the company was not a paymaster in the industry, but still people were very satisfied working within the organization. That does mean they do have various HR policies which are very good in nature, and they are regulating the policies, exercising the policies effectively, so that people can ignore the wages they are getting, but they feel satisfied due to those policies. Now, case starts here. What happens? The company is started to facing countable number of problems in supplying the materials in recent past days. Means from last some days they were facing a problem in supplying the materials. What the problem was? Problems like quality issues, mismatch in packing materials, placing material A in box of material B, incorrect labeling of material, not dispatching the material on time, etc. These were the problems organization was facing from last few days. basically when we talk about quality issues, mismatch in packing materials, it can be said that there are some grievances and going on within the organization, or people are feeling somehow they are feeling some grievances and they are not satisfied with some of the policies of organization, and that is why they are indulged into all these issues. Because if there is issue with one person, it can it can be ignored, but if it is getting with from so many people, that does mean we cannot ignore the issue. So, the management views the case as there are loopholes in the system of various departments and handed over the responsibility to HR department to solve the issue. Now, if we see all the issues, they are related to quality, they are related to packing materials or mismatch of packing materials or incorrect labeling. So, they understood the issue that there are loopholes in more than one departments. So, they have sent the responsibility, they have sent the issue to the HR department of the organization to solve the case. When the HR manager goes through the issue, he realizes that the issues are not relating to system, but it relates to the employees. Now, when we talk about grievances, I had already told you that organizations have different methods to recognize the grievances. Some of the methods are grievances boxes or suggestion boxes, or they can go with interviews, or they can go with informal parties. So, in all these methods, what they do is HR department, they have a duty, they have a responsibility to recognize if there is any grievances going on within the employees and what are the reasons, right. So, the company hired, basically what happened was, the company hired new employees for higher level post without considering the potential internal candidates. See, this is the very prominent issue with most of the organizations. What they do is, they do not want to recognize, or they do not recognize, or they do not have any method to recognize the potential of their internal candidates, and without recognizing the potential of their candidates, they hire candidates from outside for higher level post. This is basically the issue with human resources. We can identify this issue, that if somebody is having much capabilities of doing works, and if he is not recognized with the by his management or the organization, or others are hired from the outside for the performance of some specific task of work, then the person will feel demotivated, right. The newly hired employees are placed with higher packages than that of existing employees in the same cadre. So, this is also a problem. So, basically what happens is, in organizations they do not have any policies to recognize their potential of internal candidates. So, so many research work has been done on this issue, and so many new issues or so many new solutions to the issues are emerged. We will discuss later on. Now, what will be the justification of the problem? Now, basically employee equality is not the need of every hour. See, we have studied that company has a policy of employee equality. Everyone within the organization, whosoever is working, they are treated equally and they all are equal in the eyes of management, right. But if we say everybody, every person, when we talk about human resources, every person, every individual is different with the others, and they feel satisfied or dissatisfied with different reasons. So, only employee equality within the organization will not serve the issue. So, in above sad case, Watson Limited has provided all facilities to employees at each grade in equal manner, but still the employees started creating certain issues like material are meeting the quality supply, schedule is not met, etc. And the HR manager said that the policy of hiring new employees for higher post without considering all old potential employees is the major problem. So, as I had already told you that certain employees will certainly feel demotivated in this case, not all. I am not saying all will feel demotivated, because everyone is different from other. So, some of the employees will feel ignored, they will feel demotivated and they will create the problem. So, what is this? Employee recognition versus employee equality. So, so the organization should understand that employee equality will not serve the issue, they have to go for employee recognition also. As HR manager states that employees are not being recognized for the potential, rather company has gone for new recruitment, because of which the company faces problems, because existing employees, they were capable enough of doing so many works or get work done, but they have not been recognized by the organization or the management as they are capable, or they are people who have the potential to work. So, that way they have felt ignored, they have not been recognized. So, they are feeling grievances, and due to those grievances they are creating such problems. Now, the points raised by HR manager is justifiable, because human beings are social animals, and human resources scholars says that they are social animals. So, human minds demands for social recognition, self respect, consideration, etc. for their work and performance, which they have been not provided by the management. So, what they were feeling? They were feeling that they have not recognized by the organization, and they have lost their self respect, or their capabilities are not being considered by the organization, and so that way they were feeling grievances within the organization. In this above sad case, even the company provides and stands by the concept employee equality. When it fails to recognize the potential talents of existing employee, they felt dissatisfaction towards the organization, and they showed in the way of quality issues and slow down production. See, when we talk about human resources, they are social animals and they have different reactions towards the issues. So, some of them must have left the organization because due to this issue. Some of them have shown their dissatisfaction towards the organization and its HR policy in the way of quality issues and slow down production. So, if we talk about HR aspects, first is slow down production. Basically, as and when we talk about grievances, grievances has to be taken care of properly within the organization. They should have a proper grievance handling procedure within the organization. If we see, we do have a model grievance handling procedure provided under the Industrial Disputes Act, which states the various authorities and various rights of the authorities to be given to resolve the grievances. So, if the organization has a proper grievance handling procedure, it can be procured. Now, first is slow down production. So, the concept of slow down production is a type of strike done by employees. Now, if we talk about strike, strike is a cessation of work by the employees, or we can say non-acceptance of the work by the employees within the organization. And these strikes are of various kinds, and this one is the one which we say slow down production, where employees go to the organization, they work, but they work in a very slow speed. So, finally, when workers work in a very slow speed, it affects the production of the company. and finally, it affects the profitability of the company, which company has to take care. So, in this issue in this company, what happened was, the concept of slow down production is a type of strike done by employees. The industrial relations states that when the employee wants to show their dissatisfaction to the management, but do not want to go for strike, they follow slow down strike. Basically, for strike they have to follow certain rules and regulations, they have to provide with the notice of with the notice of strike to the employer, which states that they will due to these reasons they have to go, they are going on strike. After giving the notice of strike, they have to wait for 14 days. That does mean that when workers give a notice of strike, after giving the notice, they have to wait for 14 days. Before the completion of 14 days, they cannot go for the strike. If they do so, it will be deemed as illegal strike, which they do not want to indulge in. So, what they started is, they had undergone the slow down production, where they have started working in a slow speed, which will affect the productivity of the organization, and finally, it will affect the profitability of the organization in a negative manner. So, next is employee recognition. See, we all are social animals, and we all are working for some of the organization, and we need, all of us, we need motivation, some kind of motivation to get work done or to work in the organization. And one major aspect of motivation is recognition, and this recognition can be of monetary terms or non-monetary terms. This should be identified by the organization, or they do have a policy of employee recognition within the organization, which every employee should be known of. Human beings can be easily motivated by recognition than that of money. It is sad, but it depends on the individual to individual, that they are motivated due to money or they are motivated due to recognition they are getting from the organization. In this case also, the employees are not satisfied even after all facilities, just because of the reason that they are not recognized. Somebody hired by the authorities from outside, which can be done by the employees by the existing employees, and they had not recognized, and that is why people are feeling de-recognized, demotivated, and they do not want to work in a proper way. Next is Thorn experiments. If we talk about Thorn experiments, all the experiments done by Elton Mayo, they are called as Thorn experiments, and these experiments they have conducted, basically Elton Mayo conducted 4 experiments, and all in 4 experiments, what Elton Mayo did, they worked on the experiments, and they recognized that hike in production in the stage when they consulted the employees for the management decision regarding them. Basically, what they conducted after their experiments is that people who are working, employees who are working within the organization, they are feeling motivated when they are consulted regarding the management decisions. The same thing was missing in Watson Limited, as before the new hires, if the management consulted the employees, both management and employees would have avoided this issue. Means what Thorn experiment says, that every employee who is working within the organization, if he has been given a social environment, he has been consulted in all the aspects, he will give his maximum output to the organization. So, if the organization, they have consulted with the people working with them, they must have got the solution to the problem, and they should not have hired somebody else from the outside. Next is hygiene factors. When we talk about motivational theories, one factor comes into the theory which says which we called as hygiene factors. Two factors we talk about, motivational factors and hygiene factors. Now, theory of hygiene says that there are certain factors related to employees, the presence of which will not create major impact on the absence of such things, but will lead to a demotivation to the employees. Employee recognition is one such factor. When the management fails to do so, it will deteriorate the employees to a great extent. Means certain factors which are called hygiene factors, if they are present in the organization, they do not create major impact on the people working in the organization, on the motivational level of them. But if they are not present in the organization, they create demotivation to the employees in the organization. So, every organization should take care of hygiene factors also. Now, if I were a HR manager over there in that organization, what would I have done? If I was in the post of HR manager, I would have tried to discuss the issue and ask for the reason from the management for new recruiting rather than considering available potential talents. I would have personally analyzed the reasons provided by management, and if acceptable, I had discussed the same with the employees. Everything is possible when discussion is done. If I was an HR manager there, I would have discussed the issue with the employees as well as the management. If with the discussion, if I get that information that people working within the organization or existing people can do the work properly or they can manage the things properly, I have to discuss the issue, discuss this solution to the management, and we would have not hired any new person from the outside, and we would have given this work to the existing employees only, and in that case they would have not felt any disagreement or dissatisfaction regarding the industrial policy. So, I would have discussed and convinced the employees that this will not happen again in the organization. I also initiated the collective bargaining process for reasonable salary hike for the existing employees. Means this can be discussed with the employees also, that if the management has done some mistake and they will not repeat it again, but for that HR manager has to identify the existing potential with the organization. Now, next is grievance handling procedure. Every organization has to strong grievance handling procedure. They should have various methods to identify grievances. Also, they have to identify workers participation in management, means where management where workers are participating in managerial decisions with the organization and they are participating in the process of decision making of the organization. For workers participation, suggestion boxes can be used as a method where people working within the organization, they use they give their suggestions in the suggestion boxes and taken care by the management. Then again is knowledge management portal. Every organization should have knowledge management portal where they can use the knowledge of the of all the workers, whether on managerial position or they are workers. If they have any knowledge with them, they can give that knowledge on the portal and that can be used. And again, if they use this method, it will be a transparent system. Also, they should have reward system within the organization. Every employee who is working, who is giving their maximum output should be rewarded. Also, organizations should have workshops and symposium for knowledge sharing. One more thing is the 9-box grid, in which this is a matrix tool which is used to evaluate and plot a company's talent pool based on 2 factors which are mostly commonly and performance and potential. So, when they plot they will get this kind of grid, and they can evaluate all their employees on the basis of their performance and potential. And when they will plot these, so 9 box grid are actively used during the talent review process. During this process, a group of manager work together to place individuals on x and y axis, and they identify the workers where they are lying, in which box they are lying, and according to the situation or according to the performance of the workers, they can be promoted or they can be identified and rewarded accordingly. The 9 box matrix was originally created in the 1970s with the by the management consulting company McKinsey. With this I would like to tell you that this 9 box grid is basically to identify the star performance. Basically what we do is we plot potential and performance, low, moderate, high, and we plot the boxes according to the performance and potential of the employees, and accordingly they will be given the rewards and promotions. They can be identified as star performance, performers, or higher performers, or their solid performers, or high potential workers according to the to their abilities. So, this in this way we can identify the workers, we can identify various grievances within the organization, and we can sort out the issues by using various methods of grievance handling procedure, or knowledge management portals, or reward systems, workers participation in management. So, that way we can resolve the issues. Thank you so much.